young fan, play the beat.
I'ma go colonize Mars. Spit these fire bars, change the way you're driving cars. If you hate me, you're racist. I'm African American. They're hiring people based on race and heritage. They're grooming kids, teaching them about trans, gay sex. I'm grooming my children to take over SpaceX. I have X running better after slashing paycheck. I'm a billionaire, but at a time I couldn't pay rent. I do it for the memes. Politicians have schemes. There's not a left or right. They're all on the same team. They say that I'm a Zionist and anti-Semitic. Which one is it? Make up your mind. They're all pathetic. I'm hated by the right. I'm hated by the left. Guess that means I'm doing something right. How quickly they forget. Call me radical Republican, but my life is EV. Bob Iger is the clown. So is Stephen King. Mark Cuban is a dork. Zuckerberg too. The government is spending all our money. We should sue. I paid $44 billion to acquire X. Hunter Biden paid $44 billion for sex.
I just planted 1 billion trees. I just cured a whole damn disease. I just sold 1 billion chocolate bars overseas. I just gave 10,000 people sight who couldn't even see. I bought a private island just so I could take a pee. I bought a hotel just so I could go to sleep. I just bought a private jet, got the pilot out of debt. If you're hating on me, well, that's just a normal side effect. I just tipped my waitress and I gave her ass a car.
Well, I just ended the Russia and Ukraine war.
Oh, hey Trump, it's really nice meeting you. Do you want to invest in festivals?
Thank you, Jimmy, for that offer. It's really nice. Maybe we can save America from dying twice. I mean, when you fill your gas up, look at the price. The government is spending too much and it isn't right. We need a Department of Government Efficiency. They tried to sue me, shoot me, even imprison me. Thank God they can't aim and keep on missing me. P. Diddy supported Kamala, even Hillary. Myself, Elon, Mr. Beast are gonna save the planet. But we'll drill, baby, drill. The left wants to ban it. I believe in climate change. I think it's really real. I just don't believe the fear that they're trying to sell. November 2024, you know who to vote for. Used to be loved by celebs, Oprah, Whoopi Goldberg. Then I ran, everyone turned their back. But like that traitor Arnold, I'll be back.
All right, guys. Let's get started today. I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited. The Saudi Arabian meeting was amazing. I think I've been saying for a long time that our Saudi relationship would be very important and that the 180, the pivot that Donald Trump had taken in regard to Saudi Arabia would be instrumental. Wow, I'm looking at SMCI today after being up 16% yesterday, up another 16% in pre-market. Those calls are going to be looking pretty. I do want to talk, though, more about Saudi Arabia. I want to talk about this speech. It's 1 minute and 40 seconds. This isn't the whole thing. There's a lot more than this with Trump speaking to Saudi Arabia. But the Middle East is starting to fall in love with Donald Trump, and that's going to be very pivotal and very crucial with what's happening next. China. I've talked about this for a while, but it looks like we're trying to enter their markets and allow businesses to enter. I don't see that happening. But as I said in one post, if that were to happen, holy shit, none of the quants, nobody's got that factored in any way. And China's in a world of hurt, and we'll talk about that more. Good morning, Matthew Purdy from Vietnam. Good morning to JT from Taiwan, who's probably in here somewhere too, and to everybody else. I appreciate all of you guys. Yeah, there's a lot more to talk about. I obviously made a pretty large play towards MetaPlanet. I think I got close to $500,000 in that right now, pulling a little bit from MSTR. I actually think MSTR is still going to do really good. I've got about $500,000 in it. But I know Josh Mandel left the trade. That is his prerogative. He can do that. The man made 15x. Leave him alone. It doesn't mean that MSTR is not going to be doing well, even though there are a ton of new treasury companies spinning up. But I'll talk about MetaPlanet. I'll talk about my thoughts on that. And then let's see, prescription drugs. I don't think enough people are talking about that and its impact on lowering overall expenses in our budget. And I did another post this morning talking about how this big, beautiful bill, if it were to pass the House in its current construct, would be $4 trillion in tax cuts versus $1.5 trillion in additional expense, giving us quite the net surplus on the money printer going burr. All these things are crucial. All these things are important. But without further ado, I want you to listen. Move your camera up some with your mouth. All right, whatever. So without further ado, I want to talk about this, and this is really, really important. It's this speech in Saudi Arabia and what KDLY has went up like 600% in a couple of days. I don't know, man. I wouldn't be jumping into stuff like that. There's always the next hot thing. From what I'm seeing, Bitcoin treasuries are the meme coins of this cycle. And in previous ones, in 2017, we had new layer one solutions that were going to take over. Then we had the meme coins the last cycle, and now we have Bitcoin treasury companies. I would highly recommend, if you're getting into these things, you get into them early before they start running, and you don't chase them when they've ran 300, 600% in days. I think that's super dangerous from my experience from other market cycles. But yeah, without further ado, listen very, very, very carefully to what Trump is saying here. About the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, and neocons pushing their agendas on the rest of the world instead of respecting countries like Saudi Arabia for what they've accomplished. I think it's beautiful. I think it's transformational.
And it's crucial for the wider world to note this great transformation has not come from Western interventionists or flying people in beautiful planes giving you lectures on how to live and how to govern your own affairs. No, the gleaming marvels of Riyadh and Abu Dhabi were not created by the so-called nation builders, neocons, or liberal nonprofits like those who spent trillions and trillions of dollars failing to develop Kabul, Baghdad, so many other cities. Instead, the birth of a modern Middle East has been brought by the people of the region themselves, the people that are right here, the people that have lived here all their lives, developing your own sovereign countries, pursuing your
Turn it
own
up, guys. I
dreams,
can't get it louder.
charting your own destinies in your own way. It's really incredible what you've done. In the end, the so-called nation builders wrecked far more nations than they built, and the interventionists were intervening in complex societies that they did not even understand themselves. They told you how to do it, but they had no idea how to do it themselves. Peace, prosperity, and progress ultimately came not from a radical rejection of your heritage, but rather from embracing your national traditions and embracing that same heritage that you love so dearly.
This was amazing. And I'm sorry if the volume isn't good. The volume isn't that good on the recording. I've already got the dB really high on and I don't want to blast you out in other videos. But this was pivotal. It shows Trump indicating that they succeeded. And you could see the Crown Prince loves him. They're actually buddies. So many good things happened, whether it was for Tesla, for Starlink, for the United States government, for our relationship in the Middle East. More to talk about with that, with sanctions getting removed from Syria. But the Middle East is very quickly falling in love, at least the democratic portion of the Middle East. The areas that are trying to embrace freedom, I wouldn't put Syria on that. I think they recently committed genocide towards people that are not Islamic. But this speech is monumental in its scope, because what it says is we're not here to do regime changes. Don't worry about that. Well, I mean, unless you're Iran, maybe then. But even then we're not, right? We're saying, hey, we want to work with different countries. Iran, you're too radical. You can't have nuclear weapons. We're not saying we want to change the regime, but if that outcome existed, great. But outside of that, we're saying, hey, China, you want to be China? Great, be China. We don't care. Here's the deal. We're not looking to change you, but we do need our ability to be able to have our markets within yours. And if you can't handle that, oh, I guess my mic is a little loud. If you can't handle that, that's too bad. It's happening anyway. And it's happening anyway, or we're going to, again, we'll tariff the shit out of you. And again, tariffs are still high. Trump did not give up on tariffs. We have, with China right now, we have tariffs. We have tariffs sitting at, with the de minimis, I think still like 54% from 105. We've still got massive fees sitting in it. And then we still have the 30% tariffs. So we're sitting, and then they only have 10% against us. We're sitting really, really good. Really, really good geopolitically, better than I would have ever expected. And I'm very excited about what's happening right now with Donald Trump, with America, all this stuff. It's getting me giddy, and we'll be talking about that more in a second. If you look in the bottom left corner, guys, you'll see that Bitcoin is actually sitting really good. We're right above the neckline, and the neckline is marked in yellow. You can see where there was very strong amounts, looking in that bottom corner, of resistance, then support, then a breakdown, then trying to get above it, getting above it, breaking down again, trying to get above it, getting above it, trying to establish above this. And then it essentially, by doing that, you've got like a little bit of a head and shoulders pattern that gets us up towards the 110s. I think that that's very likely to happen. So Bitcoin's looking beautiful. The economy's looking beautiful. And I want to get rid of a couple of things of concerns that people seem to want to talk about, okay? So student loans seem to be the latest fear-mongering bullshit. So let's just talk about that. We've got Merlin Capital saying credit card and student loan delinquencies are going parabolic. Be worried. Be worried. Well, student loans going parabolic, the only thing that's changed is we're asking people to pay their fucking bills again, which we stopped doing after the pandemic. We're actually still way underneath this previous level of 15%. I don't know which one. They didn't do a good job showing which percent is student loan. I don't know. Percents over here and here. No, they are matched up. Okay, good. So we were up roughly, 11, 12% up here, and now we're sitting at about 8, 7. So again, we're still much lower than we were before for student loan delinquencies, but this is a normal part of the process of getting people to pay their bills again, okay? And the credit card delinquencies, yes, they went up a lot. They went up a lot, but they started climbing in middle of 2023. This is not just a recent occurrence. And this is around the bottom quintile of the United States. These are the poorest of the poor, okay? These people have been fucked. They bought cars for too much money. They extended themselves on credit cards. They extended their expenses and bought a bunch of shit when they got COVID money, right? Like over here, they got COVID money, and they just decided to spend all that shit and have some fun and enjoy life. And then all of a sudden the bills came due and the rates started going up, and they realized they bought a car for 50% more than they should have because it was the cool thing to go buy cars, even though none were available and the selection sucked. And so these guys just accrued more debt. And so they hurt themselves even more. So they're feeling pain. But what I'm saying here is, I said we're not even at the student loan delinquency levels that we were at before. So again, that doesn't really matter. I said also everybody knows that the bottom quintiles have been getting hit by increased interest rates. But in regard to the economic outlook, they really aren't of great importance. Conclusion, this is fucking noise, and it doesn't matter. Okay, so everybody wants to talk about this. All the doomers, they need to move the goalpost because life hasn't worked out well for them recently. And again, there was a post earlier that said, from a friend of mine that said, if you weren't buying at extreme fear levels of 3, then I feel bad for you, because it's about as simple as it gets. When this goes to extreme fear at the lowest of low levels, if you're not buying, you're a fucking idiot. And if it goes to 97 or 95 on extreme greed, you're a fucking idiot if you don't sell. Okay? Pretty common sense shit. Yeah. Well, I mean, it got to 3. It got to 3, which is insane. And people didn't buy there. It blows my fucking mind. Also, put to call ratio had a nice flush. Over the last few days, it's flushed down. So we're seeing much lower levels now. So we're seeing some normality, but I don't think we're done going up yet. We'll talk about why. And I think it's mostly tied with fund managers. Fund managers and their net flows, again, they were the most bearish. Fund managers have missed out on the recent stock surge after recently reducing their equity exposure to the lowest level in 2 years. So fund managers, super unexposed. Hedge fund managers, the hedgies, especially on the wrong side of this trade. And again, Angie posted right here, if you weren't buying here, guys, I can't help you because you're letting emotion control your trades. And that's not healthy. Again, I talked about this a second ago. This is in FundStrat's FS Insight report. It says, while the market is repriced quite substantially to reflect optimism over trade, this is last night, we believe further upside could come from ensuing changes in tax and regulatory policy. In the House's latest bill, more than $4 million in tax cuts have been proposed, or $4 trillion, with just $1.5 trillion in spending reductions. This implies continual fiscal expansion, which is stimulative, all else positive for crypto. I agree with that, 100% with that sentiment. I think that's something that is being overlooked, and I hear nobody else talking about it. And again, hedge funds capitulate with second biggest short covering panic on record during the Monday melt-up. So this is going back to 2020, but again, they got hurt. Hedgies got hurt, and they're still not sure what to believe, but they're hurting. Get back. When do the hedge funds? I mean, they're getting back on now, right? And we're getting, again, we are nearing, guys. If we look over here, we're at 69. We're nearing extreme greed. So gathering a little bit of cash, reallocating, pulling a little bit out of leverage, probably not a horrible idea, albeit I do think Bitcoin is getting ready to rock, and we'll be talking about that more in a second. Elon Musk on a recommended book. I want to read this one, actually. It's the Culture Books, but I want to listen real quickly for this minute and 25 on what Elon's saying because it's a theme for today.
Size of the current global economy where no one wants for anything. Sometimes in AI they talk about universal basic income. I think it's actually going to be universal high income, where anyone can have any goods or services that they want.
Now, the reason I'm talking about this is I don't think people understand the concept of abundance. And this is from some people that subscribe here, and I'm not going to name names, but yesterday I had people asking, like I did a post. I haven't listened to Todd. I haven't actually read that one yet. I can't wait to read it or listen to it because I can't read. Or I can't absorb when I read. But I wanted to talk about this because I think the concept of abundance is really important. Yesterday, I put out a feeler saying, hey, Brad Gerstner and what's his name from Texas, the senator. You guys help me out in chat. They've been pushing for this new program to kind of offset our broken Social Security system. And that new program would give $1,000 at birth per child or in order for them to be able to have invested in their accounts. And I think that this is something that's actually, Ted Cruz, thank you, JT. I think this is something that's actually really important. And I think the reason you want to do this is because you can actually incentivize and get people to understand that if they invest in America's future, it benefits them. Now, I'm going to talk about this more in a second because I had people say, oh, Jesse, I don't like this. Oh, Jesse, I don't like this. It's like you're giving away money. You can't just do that. And also, people told me that it's a zero-sum game. Evidently, at least that's what they think. They think that if you give more people money to invest in the markets, somehow that takes away from other people. One second. That takes away from other people. That is bullshit. That is bullshit. And here's an example that I'm going to give you. Right. So if you invested in Tesla and you told all your friends to invest in Tesla and Tesla had more capital to be able to push forth their vision in order to be able to reduce prices on automobiles, make it accessible for people that didn't have it before, give people better technology than they ever had before, that doesn't hurt other people. It might hurt other shitty car companies, but fuck them. Bye. But its net benefit to the United States and our society can be much greater. So allocating capital to the best of breed in the United States and around the world and towards investments like Bitcoin, it's not zero sum. It grows the wealth for everyone. Those people that got wealthy investing on Bitcoin and got investing in Tesla, they're able to reallocate that capital towards their friends, their family, maybe new business startups. Life is not a zero-sum game. There is give and take, but just because you get more doesn't mean it takes away from other people. And this is a concept that I feel like so many people do not understand, and it saddens me because you should. It's very important to realize that you can't be a socialist or a communist and assume that because the billionaires exist and Elon Musk exists, that other people are hurt because of that. That is not reality, okay? So please make sure you understand this concept. If you guys have questions about it, let's talk about it. You have to understand this. And let me real quickly, before Elon finishes his thought, just to finish mine. So people, not just the context of it being a zero-sum game, but people also... Oh, I lost my thought. Damn it. It's going to come back to me. I'm going to let this finish up.
Science fiction book recommendation that I have, which I think is probably the best envisioning of an AI future, is...
I got it. Okay. Other people talking about that investment thesis with Ted Cruz and Brad Garstner, where they're trying to get people to invest at a younger age. Oh, damn it. I think I lost it again. My brain is just not working today. What was it? Oh, no. I got it. Sorry, guys. People said that inflation could go up. They're like, oh, I don't know if I like that. Inflation. Guys. And they were saying this because when people turn 18 years from now, they were concerned that these accounts would create inflation because people would be cashing them out. If you're worried about the concept of inflation in 18 years, you have no fucking idea what's coming. Wake the fuck up. An age of abundance does not give two fucks about inflation. It's very important that you get this. Life is not a zero-sum game. People can benefit from other people's success, and the world can be better for it. And inflation is going to be broken. It's going to break. You have to realize this. If you have questions about it, please ask them.
The culture books by Ian Banks, very highly recommended for a non-dystopian view of the future. Now, there obviously are some risks, which illustrate perhaps if we don't do this right, you could have like a James Cameron sort of movie, Terminator. We don't want that one. But having sort of a Star Trek future would be great, where we're out there exploring the stars, discovering the nature of the universe, and a level of prosperity and hopefully happiness that we can't quite imagine yet. So I'm very excited about the future and very glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
All right, real quickly. Somebody said that their girlfriend thinks you're crazy when you start talking about the robots are coming. Let's just do a quick segue to that, okay? That's a really great talking point. Let's do a segue to that. Let's remember that a little over 2 years ago, the Optimus robot was wheeled out on stage, and it had a bunch of fans and twirling things on it, and it was retarded as fuck. Okay, the first one couldn't even stand. They had to have it propped up, and then the other one kind of walked out, but it was very robotic and just trash. This is Optimus now. Okay, this is Optimus now, and this isn't some kind of goofy shit. Oh, that's painful. Let me turn that fucking way down. Jesus. All right, this isn't some goofy parlor trick. This isn't some CGI bullshit. Okay, this is Optimus at 1x speed right now. This is not the Chinese stuff that you see. And I've even seen some play-by-play, side-by-sides showing these Chinese bots, like some of the Unitree stuff, and then this one, some of their best moves. And I'm sorry, Optimus wins hands down. This one has a brain. That's the key difference, okay? It's not a remote-controlled, pre-programmed fucking toy. It's intelligent. And if you watch this thing dance right now and you don't think, fuck, that's kind of like a human, and you aren't utterly amazed by the fact that within 2.5 years, we went from a talking point to this, then you have no concept of what's coming next. This one company, just this one company, will retire your entire bloodline for generations and generations until one of them is too retarded and doesn't pick up and we go fourth turning again. And maybe we never have another fourth turning. If you can't appreciate this and understand how fucking insane this is, I feel bad for you. If you can be bearish ahead of this, if you worry about inflation in 18 years, if you're worried that people investing in America is going to hurt us, our own people, to eliminate programs like Social Security, which are just garbage and just expense and not beneficial to the businesses that will make this country great and the world better. I can't help you. If you want to be a bear in this environment, I can't fucking help you. I want to, but I can't. So if you can look at this, if you can hear these points and you still can't get them, I can't fucking help you. You need to try harder. You need to look up books on the subjects that I just talked about. You need to ask more fucking questions. All right. Real quickly, let me go back up here in chat. Hef said, good morning, Jesse. Thank you for keeping me strong through this market. I'm almost positive on my portfolio. No way I would have held through without listening to you. Oh, that's awesome. Good to hear, man. Gemini Knight. If I understand correctly, you think even though we're getting up with fear and greed index, there is more room for Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin has barely started. I think Bitcoin's barely started, and we can just do the math with that. I mean, if you look at where we're at right now, sure, we're up at 104,000, right? Like, that's kind of impressive. But we were at 107 in December of 2024, 6 months ago. And honestly, if I'm being honest, if I go back to March of 2023, we were at what, the 70s? So we went up 30% in the parabolic phase of Bitcoin, where over a period of 15, 16 months. Do I think there's a fucking huge runway. We're going up. I'm just trying to paint a picture to help you understand it. But we're going up. We're going up a lot. I saw somebody calling for 78,000. You got to be borderline fucking retarded to think that we're going to 78,000 anytime soon. You got to be Martin Shkreli, this Nazi-looking, troll-looking motherfucker, to think that that's happening anytime soon. And I'd bore you with his entire stupid fucking thesis, but I'm just going to jump to the end so you can listen to this dipshit talk about his feelings, not the analytics of his thought process. No, Troll Boy just literally has feelings about this, and his feelings make his investment decisions. Let's listen.
Political capital had to be used to fix taxes, and I just don't have the political capital to push forward a Bitcoin SBR. Good luck next cycle. And you're just sitting there like, yeah, I donated $1 million to this guy for no reason. And if you've been around politics, that's how it goes. They lie to you. You walk out of the room thinking you're a smart guy. The politician walks out of the room knowing that he just fleeced you. So hundreds of millions of dollars get donated to these guys. They don't do anything. So I feel like, we're being played for fools if we think the catalyst is the government's going to buy our bags from us at double this price. Like, that's crazy talk. No, it's not that. It's we've gotten a huge price increase in Bitcoin for a long time, and it's a gigantic asset to the point where even Sailor can't move it. So, it feels toppy to me. All this good news, SBR, Sailor buying billions, we're not breaking out. Everyone kind of thought once we would break through 100, that 125 would be the next stop, right? 150 would be the next stop right away. Bitcoin kind of feels heavy to me as a trader. Like, it's just like, borrow.
It feels heavy. And throughout this conversation, he talks about his feelings. To be clear, 11 hours ago, MicroStrategy was up 30% since Skrelly, this piece of shit who took drugs, bought them all up, and then let's be real. Big Pharma does this, right? Tax bill is approved. What? What do you mean by that? In the House? Can somebody clarify that? That's very important. I want to know if that's true. But Big Pharma did stuff like that, but this piece of shit did it too. And he took advantage of people that would die if they didn't have their drugs, and he made the prices outrageous so that the system had to pay those. All that's getting fixed. The prescription drug changes are going to make things a lot different too. But this guy is an idiot. He's an idiot, and there's so many idiots. There's so many stupid fucking people out there. Don't listen to them. Listen to the people that could see the future because they bother to look and they can dream and they're builders. Listen to those people. Don't listen to morons who took advantage of poor people that would die without the things that he decided to charge 100x more for. Okay? Listen to the good people. They're the builders. All right. I'm going to jump. Let me just check chat here again real quick. I'll bet Optimus within the next 2 years will beat every single Olympic champion. Oh, before. Yeah, probably. No, that's fair. That's fair, right? That's fair. If you guys also, again, anything about the interest, anything about the age of abundance, anything about any of these things, if there are topics you want to talk about, throw it in chat. I'm happy to talk about them. Can I look at the Tesla chart? I can. Yeah. And somebody said that they got out of it early. Guys, I took 10% of my position out of TSLL, a 2x version of Tesla stock. And I did that at the wrong time because I thought we could fill this gap down here. I don't know if we're going to. This bitch looks like it's going Palantir. And by that, and we are at a fib. Let's just look here. We are at a fib. We are overbought on the daily RSI now. So this right here would be a really smart place to take a break. But when you're looking at Saudi Arabia getting cyber cabs, and you're looking at the cyber cab coming out soon, and you're looking at these videos of Optimus, I don't know, man. It might not go down. It seems very Palantir right now. And Palantir is still doing fucking new all-time highs. So I'd say another 12% seems possible, even on the daily. Now, again, market could take a pause. That can happen. It could happen. I don't think it has to, though, because right now TSLL is up 6% in pre-market, and this is up 3%. So I don't know if we go down. I can't answer that. There's so many bullish fundamental catalysts in front of us. I do regret taking 10%, but you got to take profits every once in a while. And I could reallocate that money elsewhere, and it's a small amount of my portfolio. It was only 10% of Tesla, which is making up like less than 20% of my portfolio or something. I don't even know. So just put things in perspective, okay? I hold Mara stock only. What would be your strategy in terms of profit taking versus using leveraged Mara options, etc.? I would still profit take around the same. I'm planning on deleveraging significantly when Mara gets to $30. And that's only like 90 or something percent higher than it is right now. A little over 90%. So I think that's a good place for me to delever, but that's because I have options. It's really hard to say otherwise with the stock. You have a little less upside potential and you have less downside risk, right? But if we got to the 30 range, what is that? That's it's like another 70% from here at least. With a stock, I would probably look to be out by 42. I think that would be a really conservative, smart way of being for Mara. That's what I would think. But again, it could go higher. I think there's other investments that I'll be more interested in at that time. Jesse, I'll follow you to the moon. Thank you. Ragu, Jesse, do you still think it's a good idea to buy TSLL, or would you prefer Tesla shares? You could still get TSLL, I think. And the reason I say that is because of this. It's because of the fact that even right now, to go back to where we were before, I mean, you got a 42% upside. It's up to you. I think that, so here's what I think. And I've got to redraw this because it's not, I've got to redraw this. But maybe I'll do it right now. But I think that we can get up to 600 to 900 by the beginning of next year. So I don't know. I think you could do TSLL till then. And I think that the hype is only going to build up for Tesla. I just don't see what brings it down. You got to realize we had firebombing. That wasn't in my bingo card. We have literally, I hit a record of 4 people in one day flicking me off, driving my Cybertruck around. Probably less than an hour driving that day. That's pretty interesting. But I don't think we could have reached the level of hate and disdain. Literally everybody, all the liberals got out, right? Like Meet Kevin gave up a long time ago. Ross Gerber's just a fucking moron. But Jeremy, we lost Jeremy. And we lost other liberal people too that finally just gave up because they let this weird emotional thing occur. And so again, I think we've sold out so much. We've got the strong hands in. We've got believers. We've got institutions. So I don't know. This thing maybe pauses for a bit, or maybe we just take off and get up to the 380s. 385 sounds good. It sounds real good right now. And I could see us. I don't know. So it's up to you. Again, it's not financial advice. It's just me giving my thoughts. I still have $500,000 in TSLL. That's what I can tell you. So I still believe it's worth holding. You could have got a better entry. But hey, we can always say that, right? Jesse, I talk with my work colleagues and explain to them what Palantir will do, and they think I'm nuts. Regular people don't know AI is gonna run everything. You're right. Real quickly here, I said there will be so much abundance in 18 years, and again, this is off that inflation conversation. It's that the concept of inflation won't matter. It won't matter for a number of reasons. Bitcoin will be so integrated into our system. All right, whoa, the tax bill was approved. All right, we got to fucking listen to this. 1 second, I'm sorry. Let me go back here. This would be huge. If this is the House, I got to understand this, guys. This is nuts. No shit. Oh, by the committee. All right, let's listen to this.
And the interesting part about this sort of SALT negotiation, the latest,
and how this tax plan plays.
All right, we're going to listen to this real quick. I want to hear about the latest construct of it, like SALT, all those kind of things, and where we are in the process and how likely they believe it is to push forward. This could be very important stuff. By the way, guys, SMCI is up 18%. My only regret is that I only have like $100,000+ in it. In options. My options are $120 strike. I got to show you this real quick. My options are $120 strike. That is significantly higher than we are right now, and I believe super easily attained. That is up to here. And that's a 211%, but I actually think SMCI, and these don't expire until the end of December 2026. And I think it can go up 557% over that time. I could make $3-4 million off of $100,000 worth of SMCI. Wrap your fucking head around that shit. Anyway, all right, let's get back to it. All right, back over here. Where were we going to go? Oh, yeah. Back to the tax bill.
Is out. How quickly do you think this all happens?
well, you know, they've got to sort of resolve some of the issues. I haven't seen the latest on the SALT provisions as well, because I'm sure they're negotiating.
Why is everything launching except for miners? Yesterday, well, stocks had a really good day, and they can lead, especially the S&P. The S&P, especially the Magnificent Seven, they are containers for the markets, okay? And they're the lesser risky ones that are kind of the easier play. They launch first, right? And we're turning risk on. That is what's happening right now, and I can talk about all the reasons why. But so that happens first. So yesterday, that's why you had Palantir up 8%. That's why you had some of these others. You also had in the crypto world that similar thing. You had Soul Strategies yesterday, that ETF, that was up 6. Metaplanet was up 6.52. MicroStrategy was up 4. If you were an MSTX, you got 8%. Again, I always say the bigger containers fill up first, and then they fall into the smaller ones, and then the next smaller and smaller. That's how risk works. So miners, I mean, CleanSpark was up 4% yesterday. Riot was up 4% yesterday. Let me see, what was Iron up yesterday? Iron was up 8% yesterday. I'm going to say they're doing all right. And in Soul Strategies is up 200% from its bottom in April. A month ago. 200%. I'm going to say Risk is doing all right now. And people need to be patient. I had people literally asking me, oh, God, they're like, MicroStrategy is starting to underperform Bitcoin. I don't know what fucking planet they live on. And again, we'll get to the tax bill next. I just want to really solidify this point. But MicroStrategy is up 80 fucking percent from where it was 5 weeks ago. So I don't know what planet people live on who think that MicroStrategy is underperforming Bitcoin when it's up 81 fucking percent in 5 weeks. Maybe they're just bag holders, but this is good. I don't know how to reiterate that, but this is good. And when you have 28% more upside just to get to the high of this stock, let alone to the next move, which is probably like 654 in MicroStrategy, you're going to make a lot of money. But I don't know. And here's the thing to keep track of, guys. MicroStrategy is a $115 billion stock. $115 billion. Whereas my recent play with a company like Metaplanet is basically a shitcoin. Why do I say that? It's a $2.4 billion investment. MicroStrategy is like 49x bigger. So this one, the NAV premium in this one can get a lot higher. And that NAV premium will make me rich, which is why I put $500,000 into this fucking thing, or like 450,000, because that's a lot of money that I can make with the fact that this is a much smaller container. So it's a way for me to get asymmetry on this play, and I'm very excited about it. I didn't use leverage with it. Probably could have, but I'm good with I kind of de-levered because I got rid of the theta decay and things that I had with some of my MSTX by reducing my exposure to that. And then I bought this just straight up fund, even though it's OTC and the fees can be a little bit higher. I don't have to worry about theta decay, but I still have really strong upside price action, arguably a larger number. Even when you take in the 2x and its compounding effects daily, arguably, this is a larger number. Either way, it's a nice diversity with, I think, a greater multiplier behind it. So I'm very excited. And that is why Metaplanet is running at 3.05x in a premium versus a strategy, which is running at 2.214 diluted and a 1.97 non-diluted. So anyway, I just think Metaplanet's a great play, period. And very interesting. I think miners are going to be fine. I think shitcoins, a lot of them are going to play out. I think it's going to be the biggest ones that are going to be the safer ones, like Solana. But there's a lot of really great stuff happening across the space, guys. If you don't get the uppity ups one day when other people get the uppity ups, it's okay. It's okay. And our opportunity is coming. And guys, I hit like 4.1 million-ish something yesterday. I'm not upset at all about going up $500,000 in a week. I'll live through it. And I hope you guys realize these numbers are going to get bigger and bigger as they go up more and more and more. It just starts off slow, and then eventually it turns into a rocket, and then eventually that rocket starts to crash back down to Earth. Just realize this. This is a part of the flow. All right, real quickly, I'm going to ignore chat now for a little bit. I want to jump back over to here and listen to what's going on with this bill.
Negotiations still ongoing with that. And the interesting part about this sort of SALT negotiations is that a big portion of those who are asking for a higher cap come from a state like New York.
Right.
Many are from upstate New York. Several of those have indicated publicly their desire to run for governor of this state. And that puts them in a separate category. And frankly, when you are in the whipping process, it makes a very difficult prospect for leadership to convince them to come along because they've got other interests right now. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But I assume, they're going to try and get this to the floor as quickly as possible. They'll still have a lot of wrangling to go forward. It does not stop until the last vote is taken on the floor. And then they got to worry about the Senate.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So there's the fault lines.
Okay, so to be clear, it sounds like it got through committee and it's got a ways to go. I'm actually not expecting a bill until maybe the beginning of July into June. So that gives us about 6 to 7 weeks for this thing to come to fruition. We got a long way to go.
Inside of the House to begin with. By the way, it's May 14th. Do you think this gets inside the House, wrapped up? Is this something that happens in a week? Is this something that happens in 2 weeks? I mean, we had the speaker here a couple months ago. He said this would be done by Labor Day. And not by Labor Day, by Memorial Day.
Yeah. Well, it's not going to be done by Memorial Day.
Maybe Labor Day, but maybe not.
I do think the X-date announcement by Bessent earlier, I think this week or last, about when the debt ceiling needs to be raised in August, I think that does put a hard deadline on things that you can probably suspect now. Congress does act on deadlines like that. So
they have to. They have no choice because none of them want to be responsible for the downfall of what happens in America on their dime in a vote. They want to be able to say, no, I didn't cause this.
I suspect that we're going to be seeing this throughout the summer until the end of July.
Kevin McCarthy was just here, and he said there's no question that this will get passed because they have to do it. Otherwise, taxes go back up, and everybody goes home a heel.
Right. I mean, there's no question. And obviously, look, there's no excuse for Republicans not to pass this bill. There's uni-party control. You've got this reconciliation process, which reduces the voting threshold in the Senate. But look, there's provisions in here, and I know from our client perspective at Moelis, we've got a lot of folks in the clean energy business, and there is significant reductions in the benefits that were afforded the clean energy business, the renewables industry in the IRA bill that are being taken away. And I suspect the Senate now is going to be very active on those issues. And it's one of the unanswered questions as to what else will be sort of messed with in this bill.
When you look at the distinctions between...
I'll probably listen to this more later. Are you guys interested in listening to this whole thing?
In the Senate and the House, how do you think that breaks down?
Well, I mean, I do think the unanswered question has been, where do the conservatives come down? Because the Medicaid issue, although the CBO, the Congressional Budget Office, gave...
Yeah, this is boring to me, too. I'll probably listen to the whole thing just so I know the details of it. But I'm fucking bored to death with it, so we'll move on. It's just it's a bunch of jargon, and then there's like usually a minute or two of valuable new insight. So I'll extract that so you guys don't have to listen to it. All right, let's keep going here. Let's see what else we got. I said I've been saying this the whole time. Yeah, so again, there's people that report the news, and then there's people that can kind of see the future because they spend enough time trying to figure it out. And this is interesting. So Amit posted this. It says, Trump just now. He is right. Inflation is coming down. The tariff volatility is being walked back, and we won't see 145% tariffs on China anymore. If there's any inflation, higher prices from tariffs, then it'll also be offset by lower demand, which would be deflationary. It's time for Powell to cut. And again, here's what he actually said. It's no inflation in prices of gasoline, energy, groceries. Eggs just hit a low, too. And practically everything else are down. The Fed must lower the rate. Again, we got really good CPI and inflation-related data yesterday. It's all good. And it's good that it's coming to this. I've understood this to be the case the entire time. So, and that's what I've communicated, right? My core thesis has not changed because I knew it was right. Brian Feraldi says insider selling is mostly noise. Insider buying is mostly signal. And again, this number had a bunch of insider buying. This got reset a little bit. Sometimes it spews up the old stuff. The bookmarks are weird. Amit said, could it still really be this simple? Yes, it could be. It could literally be this simple. It could be that we go up. We took a little bit longer of a dive, right? We went down further. But we're like, it's like the time frame is different because, again, we're over here and we've just started to really get this bounce that happened in April. So we're delayed by about 30. But I do think that amazing things are coming, and I've not changed my price target. I've got the S&P at $7,300. $7,300 as a potential for the end of this year, beginning of next. And I don't think there's a lot of people, not even Tom Lee is calling for that, right? Like he's saying maybe in the sevens, I think. I don't even know if he has that number. I'm saying we can get up over here. I'm saying we can get up over here before we roll over. I don't think anybody else is thinking that, but that's what's coming. And again, I told you guys before, I said this wick right here, this wick that has some data points that go back, 45 fucking years as one of the best bounces in history and what comes afterwards. I told you this shit. You could see the volume shelf over here. You could see that it was getting close to this fib. You could see how hard it broke down once it went through the neckline. You could see that the bottom end of this zone that goes all the way back to the 2008 great financial crisis, that we got near it and that we bounced from there. You could see how fucking bullish this was. And yet so many people didn't even pay attention. Didn't even pay attention. And this is not fucking bearish. This would have been the point to roll over. And instead, we're above the neckline. Did somebody stream freeze? Can you guys respond to Ego? Leverage on leverage can be dangerous. Who said that? Can Tesla's price action over the next OnePlus cancel out the theta decay on the TSL? Yes. I wouldn't. Yes. Actually, it can. It can. If you get mostly up and to the right consistently, daily, and you don't get the chop, right? The biggest problem is chop. Like, we'll just use this as an example. But you could go sideways here, but with these big ups and downs, that sucks. That will just eat your shit up because this thing's 2x daily. And again, there's all kinds of like anomalies that occur that kind of eat away your premium over time. This would just destroy it. Something like this going for half a year would just destroy it. But if you have something where you bought TSLL down here and it's going to just go up, it's going to do one of these things where it's like up, 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 down, up, 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 down, up, 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 up. If you get stuff like that, the multiplier is going to be sick. Again, with MSTR, guys, when MSTR climbed 375%, and I just want to show you this here real quick. Maybe it was less. 368 is what it says. When this happened, right, from September of 2024 to November of 2024, this thing went up 360%. If you owned MSTU or MSTX over that same time frame, you didn't make 368%. You made 1,300. Now, that's because of this 2x multiplier having just a really consistent upward tick. If we look at this is the weekly, but if we look at MSTR on the daily time frame, did it have some downtime in there? Fuck yeah, it did. It definitely did, right? Let's look over here. I'm going to shrink this up. But there were so many greens versus a few reds, and the direction was so high up that even with some red in here, again, this is over a decent time frame. This is September all the way to the end of November. So September, October, November, 3 months. That's a quarter. That's a quarter of a year. And yet you still drastically outperformed the underlying asset of 368% upside. Even though there was down in here, you drastically outperformed it from trough to peak. So people need to realize that. Metaplanet, I think Metaplanet can 10x pretty easily. I think it could go from 2.16 or whatever billion it is now to 20-something billion, right? I think that's very doable. So if I get a 10x on my money and I've got 400 off the base of like 450 or whatever, 450,000, that tells me that I can have $4.5 million sitting in my piggy bank if this thing hits my price target just from Meta. Just with 1/6 of my investments, I think. Is that right? Something like that. It's actually probably like 1/7 or 1/8. Yeah, it's like 1/8. So I think it could do really good. Hoping for Q2 to be the same. Yeah, me too. Let's check some stuff real quick. So it's 7:52. We've been going off a lot, but I think it's been fun. Hopefully you guys have had a good time. Can you look at the Metaplanet chart? Yeah, sure. We can do that for a second. Not everybody can get this either, which kind of sucks. Where did I put Metaplanet? I've lost my chart. I lost it. It's gone, my baby. Oh, did I put it over here? I put it over here. Nope, that ain't it. Is this it? There you go. Metaplanet. Metaplanet. Yes, yes, yes. We should look at this chart. If you can buy Metaplanet, I would do it. Again, I can't tell you what to do. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a dude in his basement. But I do have almost $500,000 in this. And why do I have $500,000 in this? That's a great question. I'm glad you asked, whoever. Let's look. Let's draw some stuff here because I don't even know if I have this chart well built out. So we're going to do this. We're going to go, and there's different time frames. Oh, I should actually do this off of the Japanese version of this. Oh, I really should. But I think in short order, this thing will double. And what do I mean by short order? Like over what time frame could that be? Well, if we look over here from where Metaplanet was to where it is, to where it got to recently, just a day ago or a couple days ago, week ago, whatever. My brain's going to come back. We can see almost 200% increase over a very short period of time. So I believe that in front of us, I don't even know what I have for the peak on this. What do I have for the peak on this? It's probably up here. Probably up here. But I need to redraw this to get a better number. Yeah, gold is falling. If only somebody could have told us that gold had topped out perfectly within 36 hours of it doing so. If only somebody could have told us that. And that the measured move for gold dropping is actually kind of like this. And this is being conservative, but right, like that, right? And so then from where we broke down, it's right around here. If only somebody could have fucking told us that this was going to happen. And that we have nothing but air down to the 3100s. Low 3100 range, and really we could see this thing go down to the 3000s, the low 3000s, mid 3000 range. If only somebody could have fucking told us that, because it's already down 9% from its peak over here on April 22nd. Usually very annoyed with German exchanges as I couldn't buy Nakamoto on the launch. Nakamoto, that's the Bitcoin group, is that right, or is that a different one? There's so many treasuries. There's one for like every country now. It's hard to keep up. Metaplanet has earnings today or wait to buy after. They have earnings today? There might be an opportunity to buy after, or people might just be front running it. I can't fucking say. I don't know. I just got into this. Here's what I know. Q1 does not look great. We know that, right? We saw that with the miners. But what did the miners do afterwards? They fucking shot up. So I don't know that I could be bearish into that. I don't know that I could be. And also look in here, guys. Where are we? Let me do today. I don't want this week. It's going to give me the wrong information. What do we have today? So we got mortgage-related data. Interest rates really aren't going anywhere. Doesn't matter. The mortgage market index looks like mortgage applications are lower than previous. Let me see over here real quickly. Let me refresh this. But still, I mean, they could be worse. I don't know. This whole market's dead. We need to have house prices come down or interest rates come down. And I think both of those are going to happen. I think housing prices are coming down. I'll show you some data on that. And then I think that interest rates are going to come down very quickly. Because again, I want to talk to this real quick, guys. Fed Powell, what did he tell us? Why did he tell us that rates, chat, you got to answer question. Why did Fed Powell tell us that rates couldn't come down? What was it? Can somebody answer in chat? Throw it out there. There are no wrong answers, just stupid ones. Throw it out, chat. What do you got? I'll tell you, since you guys are slow and not responding. Are people here? Did I crash? Okay. Yeah, tariffs. Thank you. I must have the delay set too long on this. I'll have to check that. Tariffs, right? Tariffs are the big thing. We're uncertain about tariffs. Do we feel more certain about tariffs? Did the market tell us that we feel a little bit better about tariffs? We went from having an effective tariff rate of like 32% down to less than 10. So some of that goes away. And the deals that are closing, all these great trips with Saudi Arabia, they're making Jerome Powell realize he's wrong. and he's on the wrong side of history. The economy still looks good, but the uncertainty on tariffs is gone. And when we look at the Fed funds rate to what we're seeing with the rest of the rates, we see that it's just too tight. And when that happens, that will be the floodgate that breaks the camel's back. Why? Because, again, trueflation has us at 1.57, and it lags with a 100-day lag on average, right? 90 to 100 days. If we go back over here and look at March 1st, what happened before that? It was in the twos. Inflation was in the fucking twos. In the twos. And then about, March 1st? So March 1st, April 1st, May 1st. We're getting about to that 90-day mark. Maybe we're a couple of weeks away. The next reading is going to be fun, guys, because we're going to see even lower CPI-related information. And you got to remember, think about this. Everybody brought in inventory to be able to account for the tariffs, right? Everybody bought in inventory. They're all rich in inventory. But now it sounds like some of the other goods aren't going to be tariffed at such a high rate. So these guys are sitting on warehouses of shit. And the more they see deals close, like with Saudi Arabia, the more they see deals close, like with the UK, the more they see deals close that they didn't even think they'd see with China, because China's so desperate. And I've been telling you this. I've been right about all of this shit. And I don't want to sound like an egotistical asshole, but at some fucking point, you have to go, these other guys just report the news or fucking wrong a lot. And this guy is right on like all of it. And you've got to weigh those separately and realize like, oh, this person's better at this. And again, this isn't me being an asshole. This is me trying to give you fucking advice that will help you financially. But in a couple of weeks here, inflation's going down. The tariff issues are not remotely what people thought they were going to be. Inventories are fucking high. And we're going to see stuff come down even more while deals are closing. Don't even get me started when we close a fucking deal with India, who we're meeting with starting today and in throughout the next week. The narrative will be so fucking bullish as inflation is going down. We do have some employment data that showed that that's weakening. The tariff concerns are fucking gone. You're going to see an amazing transition in people's views of what's happening. It's going to be beautiful. And I want you to be mentally prepared for that, because it's coming. Rates are coming down. House prices are coming down. Inflation is coming down. And at the same time, we're getting ready to juice this bitch with $4 trillion in tax breaks at a time where we've had conservatively $6 trillion additional dollars dedicated towards building in this country over the next 4 years. And we're just getting started at the beginning of an age of abundance, and when robots can dance way fucking better than I can. Ugh. I hope you get the gravity of this. I hope you do. Because when the 10-year starts dropping like a rock while it's coming out of a downward trend line that really started at September of 2022, part of 2022, all of 2023, 2024, and now into 2025, 3 years of downward pressure on the RSI. And we've gotten rid of all the excuses for the Fed not to lower rates. This bitch is going into the fucking twos. I know it sounds insane, but it's probably going to be in the high twos. And this year, maybe if we're lucky, it doesn't happen until the latter part of the year, where we can slowly transition out of some of our Bitcoin stuff into plays like maybe even the long end, the TLTs, depending on how things go and how the debt refi. Again, 8 trillion-ish plus now of debt that needs to be extended. So we've got a delay on probably this coming down really hard. I probably need to show it like this, right? Like somewhere near the end of the year. So maybe we just tread along here, and then eventually just roll over like the 200 moving average on the monthly time frame is slowly starting to do. So we might have a safety net after we've made a fortune from Bitcoin and a fortune from the risk on play. We might have a safety net that could give us a continuation of upside price action while this other stuff is finishing up, along with other vehicles that we can diversify our money into to ensure that we keep a lot of the gains that we make over this time. Yes, we're so early. We're so early. I think TLT will do all right. Again, I got out of that a while ago just because I didn't want to be in an asymmetric upside play while it was rolling over again, because I realized that China could use it as a weapon, or again, we just had the play of American exceptionalism disappear. But I don't think a lot of people are rushing to buy into bonds right now. Do you? I don't. So what I see is just what I said. I see a good play where I can make a bunch of money off of Tesla. SMCI up 19% in pre-market today. I can make millions of dollars from a trade that I probably put $70,000 in. And I could make $4 million. So I'm going to make that fucking money. And then as I de-risk, I'm going to put it into just TLT, probably. Just the stock. Because this bitch pays me dividends. And those dividends are a good number. Effective yield right now, 3.9%. Not super great, but okay. And I know that this thing, again, I think can launch. I think that the upside potential, conservatively, for this between now and let's say the middle of 2026. So let's say a year from now, right? I think that that number still sits around here. So that's 33% upside on something that can yield me a dividend of almost 4%. Over a period of a year, right? So if this thing, and let's say, right, maybe right about here, 28%. So I'm probably going to dial out of my risk stuff, and then I might dial into some of this stuff as a play along with some cash, but probably mostly something like a TLT because I think the downside will be low. I think we'll have a bunch of chop in front of us, maybe a retest to the low. But I'll be buying into stuff like this because my downside risk is super low. My upside, I get dividends off of it, so I'm making income. And if I have, let's say, $2-3 million in this, along with some other plays, let's say $2 million in this, I'm getting an $80,000 a year dividend, and I've got upside potential of 30%. Well, 30% on $2 million, do the math, $600,000 in gains would be a good form of cash with virtually no downside risk. And also, I could dial into option contracts on that at later in the year too, if this hasn't happened for a period of time. And I think that that's still in front of us, and what's being telegraphed. So I think there's a lot of opportunity here later in the year as a safety tool. I am the fucking GOAT. Thank you, Grok. I appreciate you saying that. All right, so I'm a goat who's got to take a pee break because I've just drank a bunch of shit and I've got a compression shirt on and my bladder is fucking bad because I'm almost 48. So I'm a goat, but I got my problems. I'm gonna do this real quick though. We're gonna play some CNBC for a minute. Give me 1 minute just to take a pee break and to fill up the coffee, and I'll be back. From
Geneva, Treasury Secretary.
And I'll be back with more. Okay, give me 1 second here. I just got to move some stuff around because that's not what I want to play. I want to play over here.
The True Social, great time to buy. He called the bottom within 2 hours.
By the way,
this guy
people have said you do want the president should be your financial advisor. Yeah. He told you to buy stocks last week too.
Like
and if you had, you'd be up. You're nice.
And 2 weeks ago today, it was Biden's stock market.
It was.
That was the Biden stock market.
We switched that.
That's when it went away.
You listen to Mike Wilson. I listen to President Trump. Okay.
Okay.
All right. You can have Wilson all you want, Mr. Wilson.
Although Wilson's positive too, isn't he?
No, but I'm saying that you're trying to, you can have Dan Ives. I like Dan Ives.
Well, Dan Ives says that the Riyadh show was an eye-opener for tech investors.
Right, but that was already. Again, I'm coming back to, I'm trying to be a little more circumspect to our viewers. You might get a better chance to buy stocks that are just up because, someone heard that things were good.
You might, but we've got a lot of momentum right now. You've got a lot of the quantitatively driven funds. They love momentum. As I said, you got a lot of young guys at pods.
Well, if
who
they
are
love
just
momentum,
hey,
if they love momentum, they should buy CoreWeave.
They've got memories at 20 minutes, and things are great.
Well, they have memory of a mayfly?
No, yeah. Yeah, memories are short.
Meantime, Jim, another.
I mean, they've been looking at this thing their entire life. How long do you think their memory
How he
is?
switched, the president, this is his rally.
At the same time,
he's like Marty Zweig. Remember
you got Foxconn guiding below. But you got AEO pulling guides, right?
AEO, I've decided, is a second-rater because so many companies are actually doing better. There was a PVH upgrade today. Ralph Lauren, people realize Ralph Lauren's got a good quarter. I don't know. All I say, David, is that a lot of these are catch-up trades that China, not so bad. You can suddenly get stuff cheap. So the gross margins go up. Is that value added?
Not necessarily.
No, it's not. That's my point.
Yeah.
I don't have a value-added reason to buy what I liked yesterday or the day before.
Yardeni today, we're now at 21 times. You had like 5 minutes to buy it 18 times.
Yeah, you did have that window of opportunity.
President told you.
I know, he told you to buy.
Told you to buy.
Look, he let everybody in at the same time.
Yes.
He did not let the big hedge funds in earlier.
Nope. He gave
They didn't get the call.
Across the board, great time to buy stocks.
Yeah, I thought it was.
And it was.
The disclosure was perfect.
Right. You think he'll ever come out with a sell signal? I don't.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if it goes down big and because Biden. I mean,
yes.
Biden puts
taking
he might
stocks
say
to sell.
that he heard that Biden said doesn't like the market. I don't know.
It's not.
I don't know.
Meantime,
George
Jim,
Clooney.
The budget picture solidifying a bit. Ways and Means party line vote after a 17-hour markup. Mike was mentioning earlier the long bond still knocking on the door of 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But when you go back over what Paul Tudor Jones said, it's that same rap, billionaire rap: inflation, recession, interest rates.
All right, your goat is back, so now we can get rid of Jim Cramer. Sorry about that. All right. What were we talking about? Something, I'm sure. Anyway, I don't know if you can tell this, but I feel a little bullish today. I normally don't like talking about feelings with investing, but I think I've given some really good thoughts on why that might be. So, yeah, anyway. You guys do you. I'm very excited. I think this stuff's happening. This video sucks. I miss Jesse. Oh, I'm here. I'm here, guys. Sorry. Yeah, I know. Dude, I got a compression shirt on. I don't even know why I'm wearing it. I just started doing it a long time ago, and that's what I do on the shows. But, yeah, so I had to pee pretty quickly. But I'm so bullish right now, guys. I'm so excited about what we're seeing in front of us. There's just so much good stuff. Let's just keep rolling through here. Let's go through the U.S. economy and finish this up. I said fair. So Seth Golden said, I'm of the opinion until something materializes to the good with China trade relations, market unlikely to give White House administration pricing above election day. And I said that was fair. And guess what happened? It happened. And then market took off. So I guess I was right on that too. And so was Seth. Seth is right a lot. Between tariff reductions, so Amit said U.S. Treasury, U.S. tariff revenues over the past month are now $16 billion. This breaks the previous single-month record of $9 billion. So we're seeing increased tariff revenues. We haven't even seen our first full month, really, of that. That'll come next time. And it's going to be an even bigger number, dramatically big. And I said between tariffs, reductions in spending with Doge, and increased growth, we're going to see a much more sustainable path here in the United States. And I'm holding to that. Barron's Online, Big Money Poll, sees the largest amount of bearishness in 30 years. I just wanted to highlight, we talked about this one before, but again, where did all the bulls go? Have you guys seen any bulls? Has anybody seen a bull? I'm one. All right. Let's look at other stuff here. When TLT, I just literally talked about that for a while. So you might want to go back just a hair in the video before I went pee and then and rehash that. Dude, SMCI is up 20% in pre-market. What is happening? Is this one going to make me more than all my other plays? If I don't have my goal, guys, again, my goal for this whole investing thing is actually, I think it's pretty modest for this year. I know people might not think that, but like I'm up right about here now. Okay, so getting closer to this one. And this one was just a freak of nature. But so I'm up here, and I think before the end of the year, on my low end, I've got a target of $12 million. This is a pretty impressive incline, in my opinion. And I think it's coming. And things like this, just, again, another diversified play that I'm in that has the ability to go up what I believe to be, and this is insane, I know it sounds insane, but 443% between now and December of 2026, which is when my leaps are. And I can just show these to you, I suppose. Got to log in real quick here. It's luckily jumped into 3x Coinbase right before S&P inclusion. That's awesome, Nick. That's great, dude. Congrats, man. You can't hate that. You cannot hate that. All right, 1 sec. It's almost up. It's just taking a while. This is my main, and it's just like, sometimes. All right, I think this will translate. Let me bring it over. Might have to adjust the screen maybe a little bit. All right, there we go. Okay, so let's look here. So we got what we're going to look at, SMCI. So again, I didn't put a lot into this. I put $67,000 into this. It's currently 92, but that was before this morning. But here's the strike. I'm doing a 120 December 18th of 2026. So I have essentially over a year and a half for this thing to play out, like easily, right? And I'm looking for 120 strike price, but I think it can do much more than that. I think it can go much higher. And again, this thing's up 20% today. I don't know what I was up yesterday. It was a lot. It was a lot in one. I think it was 40% yesterday, 50% yesterday. When SMCI went up, 16%. So we could have maybe another 40, 50, or even higher percent today and be at like $140,000 in an investment that I think can still go up another 443%. And I've got leaps that act as a multiple on return. I'm expecting 20x from this, maybe 40, maybe 50. So, wow. Again, you got to understand how things work, but I don't hate this. I don't hate it at all. Let me do something else. We're going to jump, actually. I'm going to talk about Bitcoin. I don't even look at DLO because I have so far out of the money leaps. If that one comes back, I'm down like 87% on that one. If it comes back, great. I'll take it. That would be cool, but I'm not worried about it. Like I'm not paying attention. If DLO is doing great things though, if you guys watch those earnings and DLO is doing great stuff, please tell me. Let me know if I need to pay more attention to it because I'm not right now. Just full disclosure. All right, so real quickly here, Nepal government proposes to follow Bhutan. Again, Bhutan is the happiest country in the world. That's what they're known as. They were smart and invested in Bitcoin. Their standard of living and the value of it, just based on the country's doing really well based on this decision, and it's awesome. And again, from an energy perspective, it's helping them too. They're basically taking what would be excess energy and just getting burned off, hydropower that doesn't do anything, and they're turning it into money. So not only do they get, again, for their water moving through, do they get money, because of the flow and just everything else and generating power, but now that also turns into Bitcoin, which can give them an even more like asymmetric return than just what they make from the power. So very cool stuff. It's cool that Bhutan did that. It's awesome that Nepal's jumping into it. It's just really great. Also, Senator Cynthia Lummis just urged the USA to eliminate tax on Bitcoin and crypto companies. I don't know if this comes across right away, but I want to read it real quick. AMD announces a new $6 billion share buyback plan. Cool. That'll help the chip sector. What was it? Was it Soxel, I think, that Market Maestro was talking about. That is that leveraged play, I want to say, in the chips sector. That thing did really well, man. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. Very beautiful to see. It says, Dear Mr. Secretary, we respectfully bring to your attention a significant issue impacting the digital asset industry. We are committed to ensuring just and fair tax treatment for American companies while rooting out harmful practices that will hamper domestic innovation in the United States. We greatly appreciate your support of the digital asset industry, and we look forward to being a partner in these efforts. In 2025, President Biden, is that better? Let me see. Can I zoom in more? No, you can't. That sucks. President Biden signed into a law in the Inflation Reduction Act, which created a new tax for the corporate alternative minimum tax, CAMT. CAMT imposes a 15% minimum tax on the adjusted financial statement income, AFSI, of any corporations whose AFSI averages at least $1 billion in the prior 3-year period. Those financial statements are being calculated based on either the generally accepted accounting principles, GAAP, issued by the Financial Accounting Standards Board, FASB. A private organization of the Securities and Exchange, SEC, relies on established accounting standards, blah, 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 and an unforeseen combination of CAMT and newly promulgated accounting standard is creating an unjust and unintended tax consequence following efforts by senators. So this, what it sounds like, and I'll probably read through it more on my own, what it sounds like is this is actually going to be beneficial for, I don't know if this will be treasury companies, but this will be beneficial and help alleviate some tax in regard to the crypto side. I could see this getting passed for sure. I'll kind of dig into it deeper and make sure that I fully understand it. But this sounds like good news too. Again, we're seeing a lot of deregulation in the crypto DeFi space. We're seeing a lot of embracement by major banks all around the country. And now, again, other countries around the world doing the same thing from a technology and a banking sector side of it. Europe is trying to push away, but they're not going to be able to. They just can't. The world is going against them, and they can't take on the entire world. Billionaire Novogratz, Galaxy Digital, just revealed holding 12,830 Bitcoin worth over $1 billion. They're about to go public. So again, more treasury companies coming on board. Let's see here. Nick says, I'm in Europe, so I can't access ETFs like Connell, as the EU uses that ETFs to have to be composed of multiple products, but I could access ETP from leverage shares. Yeah, Europe is just shit. Sorry, you guys have to deal with that crap. Kurt Brown, Jesse, what indicators do you primarily use in TradingView? Yeah, I use a bunch. I use RSI a lot. Let me just show you real quick here. I'll just tell you. I use trend-based. I use fib extensions and retracements. So this is an extension right here. You can see the low to the high to the low in order to be able to gauge where price is going to head and where it's going to have roadblocks. I use the visible range volume profile on the right. That lets me know where the price was for all of the volume that exists. It gives you a really good idea of pockets where the price can naturally fall into. So Tesla, if it did fall here and close that daily gap right over here, that would kind of make sense because it's going to hit resistance up here and it could kind of fall down and bounce here while closing a technical gap created by volatility. So that would be something that could totally happen. But again, I don't know if it's going to, because this is just such a great company right now. I look at volume because volume can tell you a lot, not just from the side over here. Did we hit a new record volume like on the daily or something like that? That can be important. I used to use MACD a lot. I use it every once in a while, but really I don't use it much anymore. It's really RSI. And then I also look towards trend lines. So whether it's resistance or whether it's support, I look for trend lines for potential breakout zones. And the time frame of that, the longer something's going on, the deeper the chart, like it's the weekly, it's the monthly. If it's the monthly, I'm going to have way more conviction on the technical patterns that I'm seeing and the indicators that I'm seeing than if it happens on an hourly or a 4-hour or a daily. I don't even look at the hourly and the 4-hour, really hardly at all. I show it here to give you guys visual representation. I'm on the 4-hour for Bitcoin, but usually I daily, weekly, monthly. And if something's a month, it has more weight. I hope that's the gist of a lot of what I do when it comes to the technical side of things. There are many other nuances, but that should give you hopefully a lot of understanding. I want to pull all these off and put these back where they belong so I can keep an eye on them too. Up almost 21% on SMCI now. What the actual fuck is going on there? Let me put my 10-year back. Gosh, there's so much crap. I'm taking too much crap. I'll put all these back. But yeah, it's going to be a good day, guys. It's going to be a real good day. I hope you guys realize how good it's going to be. Let's keep going. I'll move some of these others back in a little bit. Well, maybe MicroStrategy. I want to keep that over here too. I just want to get them all back. I got to have my stuff organized. But yeah, again, guys, oil. I told you it was going to drop. It's dropped. Pay attention to people who know what they're doing. Metaplanet, I can't wait to see what that's up this morning. But again, I love this chart. I think our next run is to $9. And I don't think it has to take long. I didn't really talk about it over here, but this run from April 25th to May 5th, that's only like 2 weeks. And we went from 227 to 459. So another 2 weeks, and we're at $9 on MetaPlanet. I think it's possible. So I don't want to fade that price action. You know what I mean? All right. Anyway, I think I got all that stuff cleaned up. Let's keep rocking with Bitcoin. I did want to talk about this. So I said, so this right here is the Bitcoin on exchanges. Okay. And what I said in this chart is that we are back to levels. And in purple, guys, the purple is the exchange reserve. It shows how much the Bitcoin exchanges are holding in regard to Bitcoin. The white is the price action of Bitcoin. And what I said was we are at levels of Bitcoin supply that goes all the way back to 2018. This is fascinating to me. This is fascinating to me for a number of reasons, because when you look at times like in 2017 where the supply tabled off or started to actually roll over and go down, you see the parabola that happened with Bitcoin later. And then over here, we had another time where that occurred, where Bitcoin supply went down a decent amount, nothing crazy, from 3.25 to maybe 2.9. So about half of what it's went down recently. But again, Bitcoin's price, what did it do? It went from I don't know, close to like 15. What is this even? No, I'm sorry, 10,000 all the way up to 60. We had that parabolic run, right? And then over here, we had another big drop, and then that started this cycle, right? So we went from 15,000 on Bitcoin, this massive drop right here, to going all the way up into the hundreds that we've seen now, right? But what's fascinating about this is we had this big drop and then a bunch of sideways chop. But since that time, we've rolled over even more. So we've went from about 3.35 million Bitcoin on exchanges to about 2.4 now. That is almost a million Bitcoin that have dropped off. A huge, huge decline. And yet we're not crazy different in price from where we were last cycle at the top. So this is just something where I just want to be very clear. We're getting ready to see a massive explosion in Bitcoin's price action, and I hope people can understand the gravity of it. We have about 5 minutes until the bell rings. Let me see what we have here for additional chat. Benedict says, since miners do not seem to care too much about BTC price action these days, what do we expect the catalyst to be for them to launch? When and why would shorts close their position? They're going to close just because the math is going to really rape and fucking pillage them. Right now, they're like, oh, well, I lost some on it, but, we've kept buying and we're going to be okay. Maybe they don't even think that now. Short interest will drop. This is what happens with cycles. It's just a normal part of the cycle. The shorts can manipulate price for a period of time and they can keep something compressed. But eventually math takes over. Math always wins. And math is telling us that we're a million Bitcoin lower than we were at the end of 2023 on exchanges. And that math is getting better by the day because there's more and more companies that are turning into treasuries and that are realizing that they need to buy Bitcoin right away. We already have 2 states that are doing this. We're probably going to have a third in the next week. We have trade deals coming in. We have interest rates going down. The last cycle top in Bitcoin got neutered because we raised rates at the most aggressive rate in history. What happens when prices are going in deflation? We're lowering rates, and at the same time, we have a $2.5 trillion net to the positive with all the pro-growth stuff that we're doing right now. It's going to be sick. It's going to be fucking sick. And miners are going to go up with it. Everything's going up, guys. Just be patient. Be patient. I know patience is hard. I get it. Steak and eggs. If you like the alpha provided in the stream, smash the like button, please. Show some love. Yes, please. Don't just be a person who goes through life without contributing in some way. If I'm putting forth alpha to you, contribute a moment of your time to hit a like button every once in a while on my videos. You should do that for everybody who you find valuable in your life. If you're not liking your friends and liking social media and liking content and giving good reviews on books that you really liked, what the fuck are you doing? Let the world know what's important to you. Gnome, Jesse, can you take a look at coin and help us identify any gaps in the given recent jump? Yeah. Give me a second. I'll try to. Sawyer, people don't realize you need Bitcoin, not just because it's going to explode upwards, but because there won't be any left to buy. Exactly. EC, thank you for the $10. Dropping some cheddar on NVDL at open. You're not wearing the Chashi shirt, but I still feel good. Nice. Kurt Brown, thanks for the $10, dude. Thank you, Jesse. History Guy Scalps. Sorry, just joining the chat now. Good morning from Florida. You got to watch this video. It's a good one. Chat. Was it a good one? Can you tell him? Hef Williams. Jesse, do you still have your ARCG calls? I have all of them. What are we at right now? So we're down 65% on them. I allocated $780,000 to ARCG, probably 800 plus across all of my accounts, and I've lost 66% of that money. But I am actually really excited about this. I've actually been thinking about adding to June and maybe even December 2026 leaps as I make money in a bunch of other stuff. So as I rape and pillage in other areas, I'm looking to allocate more to this. The only Bitcoin related thing that isn't really treating me well, so it's ARCG, again, down 66%, CleanSpark down 45%. That's probably even better this morning. Well, no, I don't know. CleanSpark's down 0.2%. But I think this will get better. I think people are going to start getting excited about leaps and buying the stock, and we're going to see greater allocations. So I've got 4 different contracts for CleanSpark. But again, I allocate further out when I still have conviction in something and I want to buy the dip. I end up buying lower strikes if it kept really falling a lot that are out further in time. So I've got this staggered thing where it's like, okay, I was originally in 37s for July 18th, but then we started to get really far away from that. I actually think these can still make me money. I know that sounds insane, but I put 570,000 into this. I still think these can make me money. But then I said, you know what? Maybe that's too high of a strike price. I'm going to set it to 25. And so I bought some of those too, and I lost money in those. And then when it kept falling, I said, yeah, you know what? I guess we're going 20. Let's go 20. Let's go even lower on the strike price. Let's give ourselves more time. Let's give end of cycle. We're going to September. Because I believe that's probably close to the end of the cycle. Now I think that's maybe getting extended, but we'll see. Again, I'm dialing out of leverage, basically multipliers either way. So I'm de-risking as we get more. But then I said, you know what? That's not good enough. Let's go 20 at November, just because in case the cycle runs late. And so I bought 4,200 contracts of that. So I'm up 140% on the September 20s. I'm up 34% on the 20s for November. And then I'm down substantially on the 37s, but I think they still might have life. Here's the thing. Even if they don't, I've got $500,000 in these other contracts that can make me 10x. Right? So I can make $5 million. And then if these others come back alive and I make $1 million off of that, it's icing on the cake. But so these are my shittiest plays right here, these two. And DLO. DLO I ended up putting, it's worth nothing right now. I put 112 into that. And that's okay. Multiple asymmetric bets. I'm actually perfectly okay with this one going to zero. I believe it probably will. If for some reason, by some miracle, it can get above $35, where right now, what is it at? What's TLO at, guys? It's a fucking ridiculous number. But if it can get above that, it's probably under 10 right now, then great. I'll take my money back, my 112. But it doesn't matter, right? When I can make 4 million here, 3 million here, 4 million here, 2 million here, 5 million here, it doesn't matter if I lose $100,000. This is what I do. Ash, thank you for being a member. All right. Let's see. Connor, if you had to pick one, Metaplanet or MSTR to invest in, I'd probably do Metaplanet right now, personally. But it's an OTC, so it's got higher fees. Getting into it, you can only buy $10,000 worth if you're, I think that's the way it works everywhere in the U.S. I don't know about other countries. Considering moving my miners, a slight loss, BITF, CleanSpark, IREN to Metaplanet. Thoughts? Diversification is good. I wouldn't do all of it. I would do some of it maybe if you're going to do it. I like diversification though. And again, me not giving financial advice, just telling you kind of how I'm doing it. Daniel Dibb, go, not worth selling your miners. Yeah, I think they're going to rip too. But I do think diversification is good. So if you don't have a MicroStrategy or a meta play, meta is probably an equivalent to what the miners can do. But I don't know if you're talking miner options or stock. too. If you're talking options, I mean, those are probably going to do good. Maybe let those run a little bit and then disperse some of it out into the others. Yeah, anyway, let's keep going. Daniel Dibb. Yeah, potential regret territory. I hate that. Everybody has regrets. You just got to remember, things are going to be okay. But yeah, so my two worst plays, I think still are going to give me a ton of money. I won't be buying more Clean Spark. I have too much already. But like ARCG, would I buy more ARCG in June or maybe December of 2026? Betting that it could double over that time. Massive deregulation is going to be benefiting this sector, the genomics sector. I think these companies are going to do really good. I think they'll be risk on. They're down an incredible amount. It's super cheap right now. Let's just look at this chart. So to put this into perspective, this stock right now at current levels is down 80% from its high. Its high was about 4 years ago. About 4 years ago. That's a long time. So you've seen the entire market cycle play out, and now you've seen this moment right here. It's happened right here, right? This is this. Would you want to be in ARCG right now? If you realize that this is this is this, are you getting this? And so could we chop sideways for a few months into 2025, the end of 2025? Sure. Will the end of 2025s not do well? They might not. But I have high confidence in like a December 2026 that by the time that comes around, we're at least at 62 or have hit it. And honestly, that we could hit 84 or that we could be up here by December of 2026 at $133 a share. Yes, I am saying that. I'm saying that it could actually end up going, if we have crazy parabola, to 470. The market's open. Sorry for the rant. You guys love that bell, don't you? Should I give you the bell? I'll give you the bell. I'll give you a quick bell, and then I'll show you where we're sitting. Got to go back, though, for the bell. But I'll give it to you, because everybody likes a ding, ding, ding. Can I see it? Can I see it? There we go. Here you go. Your ding, ding, ding.
She's so humble. Imagine she's so humble after all she's accomplished. What a great object lesson.
Let's get the opening bell and the CNBC real-time exchange. With the big board, it's Horace Mann Educators, celebrating the 80th anniversary of its founding.
Yes, that's a really good point. Always consider taxes. Always. I don't bring that up every time, but I'm doing a lot of my trading, guys, in an IRA. Because an IRA doesn't have any tax consequences until you withdraw. I've got long-term buy and hold accounts where I hold for at least a year, because in the U.S. you get long-term capital gains that way, which is half the tax rate. So again, just use common sense. Don't be a fucking idiot. And let's look over here. Let's look at what pre-market was. Pre-market was good. Tesla up 2.5%. Tesla's up 3 now, so it's continuing to go higher. MicroStrategy flat, Mara down 0.75, CleanSpark down 1.5, Iron up 0.37, SMCI up 16.5%, Palantir up 3.49, SoFi up 2.97, Hood up 1.51. So we got some things doing good. Nvidia's up today. The chip, again, that Saudi Arabian visit was really good. We got some Chinese stuff benefiting, but I think a lot of people are still way more interested in the United States. I don't see that trend changing. I want to speak to something else. I see a very risk-on environment right now, guys. This is the day right here for crypto, top 100. This is the week for crypto. Do you guys see a pattern here? Does this look bullish? We got Pepe, this little fucking frog bitch, 72%. We got Whiff, a fucking dog coin, 96%. In a week, we got Pi, 106%, literally turning into Pi with the returns that it's getting. We got Optimism up 41%. I wish I still owned all this shit, but I had to pay my taxes, and risk adjusted, this was just an easy decision for me. But again, you get overzealous, you buy too much, whatever. It happens to everybody, man. I'm still going to be so fucking rich. $12 to $20 million this year. I'm going to buy my mansion. You guys are going to be seeing me swimming in a fucking pool this year. That's indoors. In the Midwest, you got to have an indoor pool if you're going to have a pool. Raber Trades, hey Jesse, hope you had a great couple of days. I did. Look at this. Look at this. This is a week. What's the month look like? In some of these, it's even bigger. Trump's up 60% in a month. Virtual's up 248. WIF's up 144. This is good stuff, guys. There's a lot of good stuff happening right now. I hope you guys realize that. I hope you realize that the market is risk on. I hope I'm doing a good job getting you to understand why you shouldn't be too scared. Take some money off the table if you need to take it off the table. Take a little bit in profits. That doesn't hurt. I did some of that yesterday with Tesla, but I kind of wish I wouldn't have because it's up like 10% since then. But I took 10%, so it's okay. And I've got so many asymmetric bets that can give me so much. Sorry, my cough is just horrible today. I'm going to get a Halls. Give me a second here. Sold some stocks off a loss at gains. Rebuying accidentally. Ended up a wash sale. Paid so much in taxes. That sucks. Yeah, you don't want wash sales. When you're doing trades, make sure they're done right. Because that sucks. That 'tis no fun. All right, but yeah, it's sitting good, guys. The daily change looks really good here. Crypto's doing well. Markets are performing. I hit 4.1 yesterday. I got a feeling that's going to be higher today. I got a feeling it's going to be higher. We got a lot of good stuff in front of us. What do we have for economic? Anything new? Not really. We just got inventory levels. Nothing really interesting here to me at all. I do have in about 20 minutes here. If there's anything else, anybody, if I missed something that somebody wanted me to bring up, let's bring it up now. I have my air conditioning still is not fixed, and they're coming in 9 o'clock. So in 20 minutes, I got to be talking to these people. I think today's going to be an up day. I think you should be bullish. I think all the stuff that happened in Saudi Arabia was great. There's a bunch of Tesla stuff I wanted to get through and Bitcoin stuff. Looks like I'm not going to get through all of it. Coin, yeah, let's do that. I told you I'd do coin. We're all going to make a lot of money, guys. But let's look here real quickly at Coinbase. Again, in the Discord, and I got to get better at relaying this, and making sure that I save all my charts. But in Discord, I give you guys access to all my charts. Over in Discord, if I refresh over here, let me see. I'll show it in a second. But I give access to all these charts. So I'll update them, and then you'll have access to them. So this is kind of beautiful. We bounced off the golden retracement zone, the .618 golden retracement zone. I love that. That's the fib. This is the fib retracement that we have drawn here. So now that we know that we already had our bottom, and we do know that, right? I think it's safe to say with all the bullishness that we've had our bottom on Coinbase. We can do this. So we can draw up to here, down to here. This is kind of, I'm keeping this too. There's a lot of things with this. So technically somebody would say, well, why didn't you just draw from down here to here to here? I can do that too, and I'll show that to you in a second. And it does provide valuable information. But right now, we're up here. We've already broken the first fib. So I want to look at a longer time frame. I want to look at kind of where we're going to be at the end of the cycle. And so what I'm telling you is I think that Coinbase at the end of the cycle could be at a minimum 137%. And that is a lot because this is a $67 or $66 billion company. So what I'm telling you here is that I think this thing can get close to 200. I believe this is very possible. I think we don't really hit key resistance here. Now that we've gotten above this fib, as long as we establish a base here, we don't hit key resistance until like 351. But I think you can make a lot of money. Let's look at it, though. On the daily, it is overbought. It's not a crazy overbought. Like a crazy overbought would be in the 80s. It's only 75. On the weekly, it's not even close to overbought. And then the monthly is going to look similar to that. So, like, this is a really good-looking chart, in my opinion, and I wouldn't even be interested in selling until the 380s. Does that make sense? Buy Coinal? You could. Yeah, you could. It's already has some... I mean, you guys should be thinking about that at 141, arguably, not at 260. But this is a confirmation zone, right? Like, this is a confirmation that we're probably going higher. So I think it's a really safe bet to 354. I think it's 354 right over here. I'm going to save this chart. So if you're on Discord, it'll look like this when you go in and look at this chart. Oh, my screen locked up a little bit. We'll see what's happening there. When I went to Discord. I don't know why Discord's being weird on my screen, but whatever. Good morning, brother and fam. What a time. Hey, Chris, if you just started, you need to go back to the beginning. This is a really good one. But as you can see, like charts like Tesla, again, you go into the channel, and then you go up to the pin part up here, and you can see the chart for Tesla. And sometimes I have more than one on whatever investment it is. And you can see my latest version of the chart. So you guys get all that in Discord. So if you want access to these things as I update them, I'll start updating more of them, and then we'll have those in there. Okay, good. When should strategy be added to the S&P, I'm assuming you're saying? Technically, it'll be eligible, I think, in Q2. Maybe Q3. There's probably going to be a narrative for the end, maybe beginning of Q3. Probably more realistically Q4 for it to be added. But I don't know that it has to be. I just think it's a narrative that's going to push it higher. Would you buy coin now? I wouldn't personally, because I like MetaPlanet more. I like the options that I have in CleanSpark and Iron and Mara and SMCI. I like the MSTX that I have. I like the Solana that I have. I like the Sol Strategies that I have. So I've got other vehicles that I'm using though. But Coinal would be just another way to diversify. I just worry that in some way Robinhood's going to start to become more competition for them. Echo, if you just joined, definitely take the time to watch this video and like the video. Yeah, I think it's one of my best, arguably. I covered a lot of really good information in this one. Exodus, another exchange. There's just a lot of exchange-related competition, and I don't know outside of ETFs, like they manage all the ETFs for the big dogs. I feel like there's better options, right? We're breaking down a little bit, guys. If you look down over here with Bitcoin, I'll probably just pull this up for a second to show it before I go here. We are breaking down a little bit, but here's what I want to say. And it's important that you hear this. This is a falling, broadening wedge. It is a bullish pattern. It has peak volume down here at the 103 range. Could it drop lower? Yes, but I think what's most likely to happen is that we're likely to stop here. This can also be called a diamond pattern. Why can it be called a diamond pattern? Well, I might draw that out more here in a little bit, but we'll just show you some of that right now. Let me do this as a different color. And so this can be called a diamond pattern, right? And all we mean by diamond pattern is this. It kind of looks like a diamond, right? So when we look at this, we can kind of see a diamond. And I'll try and make it look a little bit prettier. But I'm trying to teach you guys some technical know-how too at the same time as I'm showing you a lot of different things. But yeah, so you see something kind of like this, right? A diamond pattern, and this diamond pattern, the way it broke up hard, found support strongly. It's going over here. Now it's finding support at the end, tells me that we're going to launch and we're going to see a continuation that's going to get us up into the 110,000 range. And it's a beautiful chart. It's a beautiful chart. So many things are beautiful right now. What do you mean by ghost companies? Can you elaborate on the concept of ghost companies just to make sure that I'm clear on what you're trying to say? I think I understand, but I don't want to be off topic. Ronnie, the NASDAQ is almost back to all-time high already. Any predictions forward towards midsummer? I think the narrative for the NASDAQ could get a lot better. Why do I think that? Because we just listened to the fact that, well, I mean, if you haven't seen all the Saudi speech with Trump, you need to listen to the entire thing. Obviously, again, it was very flattering for Saudi Arabia, and he spoke a lot of truth in it. And he established a lot of business relationships, a total of $600 billion in additional trade that we're going to see coming for the United States because of that relationship. And I think it's just going to get better. I don't think we're anywhere close to done. It's helping Tesla a lot too. It's just really cool. And so I think, what was the question again? Oh yeah, NASDAQ. So I think the other part of that, just to get back to point here, is that the Nasdaq will benefit a lot, I think, because we know that for instance, and let me just show this before we go. We'll go to this real quick. So under the AI section that I didn't get to today because I was ranting too much, we got this, right? Dan Ives says the theme was clear in Riyadh. The AI revolution is coming to the Saudi kingdom, and Riyadh will be a major buyer of AI chips, software, autonomous robotics, data centers over the next decade. Bullish for NVIDIA, Tesla, Palantir, Microsoft, Alphabet, and Amazon. So if that's bullish for them, what's going to happen with the NASDAQ? It's going to go up a lot, right? And Mario said Saudi secures 18,000 NVIDIA Blackwell chips in landmark deal with Humane. So again, they can sell. We've revised the chips sanctions in order to be able to make it to where these guys are a strategic partner and an ally when before they were blacklisted. So, and now they're going to embrace all of our high-tech companies, and they're going to embrace all these companies, and the Mag 7 are just going to get richer from that. So I see a lot of upside ahead, guys. A lot of upside, less downside. You just have to remember that we're getting towards extreme greed. We're not there. We're getting closer. And so taking a little bit of profits each day isn't stupid, is it? At 73, just like it was not stupid to buy at 3, 6, and 7 on the extreme fear. It's also not stupid to slowly start taking some profits and getting some cash and having a little bit of a safety play, right? Because when the things drop, all you're going to see are sales if you do that. If you got 10% cash while we went into extreme greed, or maybe 15%, or maybe insanely 20% cash with things that have run really well and that are getting a little toppy, and all of a sudden we drop down to neutral and you have a nice percentage of money sitting on the sidelines to buy your favorite things, you're going to see a sale. You're not going to see fear. So this is a good time to sell just a little bit and take those profits and be ready to buy or reallocate them to something else that hasn't run yet. That kind of stuff. You're gonna appreciate it if you do. And again, we've also got, I believe, approaching extreme greed, getting close at least on the crypto index of this too. Which again, I was telling you to buy down here, and now it's like, okay, taking a little bit off the table wouldn't hurt. Even though, notably, we are not anywhere near February 2024 levels or November of 2024, which were some pretty nice bounces. So we can go a decent amount higher in this. I think 110 on Bitcoin is just easy. And then you'll have people talking about a double top, all these retarded people. Don't listen to them. They're wrong. All right, I got about 10 minutes, but yeah, so again, really good stuff. 500 megawatt data center. Power is going to be a big theme. Look at this. Sachs is right, of course, in the next 4 years. This Joe Bhakti one is great. AI chips will get 100x better. That's a part of the Sachs interview. Algos will get 100x better. Far better than that. Data centers will get 100x better. Meaning AI power increases by 1 million x. I hope you guys get the math behind this. This is what's happening in the next 4 years. If you're not bullish right now, you are fucked. You're going to miss out on such a great opportunity. So I think that's it, guys. I think I might be done for the day because, again, I got more stuff to do. I just want to encourage you to realize that we're in a golden fucking age. It couldn't be better. Prepare for absolute wealth, okay? Absolute wealth and opportunity and sitting in front of us. And if you're not on the Bitcoin train when we're talking about another $2.5 trillion of upside action because of the amount that we're looking to spend versus what we're looking to cut, if that alone, let alone the lower Fed interest rates, let alone all the deregulation, let alone all the capital inflows coming into this country, let alone all the tariff revenue coming into this country, let alone the embracing of Bitcoin and crypto, let alone the embracing of technology, and just, again, making it to where we're in growth mode in a hyperbolic way. I hope you guys get this shit, man. I'm doing my best to try and present it to you in different ways. if you could comment after the video, like, do that stuff on X, support me if you would, guys. I would really appreciate it. I would really appreciate it. All right, you guys have a good day, and I will talk to you later, okay? Peace out, guys. See you tomorrow. Oh, I did want to say something. I might switch the formula a little bit, guys. I'm probably taking Tuesdays off. I'm going to do Monday. I'm going to take Tuesday off. I'm going to do Wednesday and Thursday because those are good economic days as far as data points. And I might do Fridays. When I think Fridays are going to be fun or interesting, I'll do Fridays. But I'm probably dropping down to 3, maybe 4 days a week. I think I'll be better for this physically and mentally. And I'll be able to give clear, more concise messages and take up less of your guys' time while at the same time being there when I should be there. So I'm kind of thinking that. So think Monday, Wednesday, Thursday with optionality on Friday. That's probably what we're doing. It's summertime too. I gotta live. If I've been retired for almost over 4 years, and 5 now. Yeah, I think. And it's probably time that I enjoy some of it too. So I'm going to try and be insightful and still give you all the knowledge and everything, but I'm going to try and do it with less noise and more efficiency and just better for my own health, and mental fortitude too. So anyway, I love you guys. We're going to make lots of money in the days, weeks, months, quarters, years ahead. I promise you that. It looks like my air conditioning people are here. So peace out, and you guys have a good day. Bye.
Get on the ark! Everyone on the ark now!
I think we should get on the ark.
I agree. I think we should get on the ark also.
I'm cold, I'm wet, I'm going home.
Attention